The audience to keep those things in mind too. So most of you have been here many times, but I do see some new faces. So I just want you to know that there's no campaigning, no questions, no comments during the presentations. Hopefully the campaigning's over, right? Is the election over? At 8 o'clock we'll have all of our presenters at their tables or someplace where you can talk to them. So if you have questions or comments or anything else, that'll be the time that you can go up to them and ask all your questions and talk to them about everything. So what's going on around here? We've got a lot of information tonight. First of all, I have Director Tina Francone, who's going to be talking about what's new and going on with RTD. Here she comes. Tina.
Good evening, I'm Tina Francone. I am your RTD Director representing District N. We go from Platte Canyon to Pine. So thank you for having me again. I always enjoy coming up here. So I was here today just to give you a little update on what's happening. I'm sure you all want to know what's going on with the University of Colorado A line out to the airport. You've probably read in the paper about some of the problems it's been having. The Federal Rail Administration has granted RTD a waiver to address those problems, and that allows the A line and the B line that goes to Westminster to continue to operate. Unfortunately, that's put us back a little bit in opening the G line in Nevada, as well as the R line, the light rail, that will open in Aurora. So we're still hopeful the end of the year that we'll have those other two lines open. But despite the problems that the A line has been having, it does continue to run at about a 90% service level, carrying about 20,000 people a day. So that's my update on the A line. Other things we've been doing, RTD has worked hard to get real-time information, so for your bus and your rail applications, so you can know when your bus is supposed to show up. New Year's Eve service. On New Year's Eve, traditionally RTD offers free services for everybody. So if you had a little bit too much to drink or you feel safe to go out and party a little bit, you got a ride home. So that's really all I have for you tonight. I think we'll have questions at the end, or would you like me to take questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Next we have Melanie Swearengin, who is the director at the Conifer Area Chamber of Commerce, and she's going to talk about all the things going on at the chamber and in the community. Melanie.
And we have a lot. This is our event season, so I'll be up here for a little while. I may take a little bit more than she gave me. I know, Angela, that's on you. Tonight, first of all, let me say thank you for shopping local. That's what we're here for. We're here to support our small businesses and our local economy. Tomorrow night we have a after-hours mixer over at Red Roof Relic from 5 to 7. It's open to community members, so if you're interested in checking it out, it's great an opportunity if you are thinking of joining the chamber, just to kind of see who all is going and what we do. And then on Saturday we have our Wine and Dine and Festival of Trees. And actually, the Festival of Trees is going on right now. I have a list of stores that have beautifully decorated trees up right now. You can go around and check on them and then vote. We have a list of where they're all located and how to vote. And then those trees will be taken over to Evergreen Memorial Barn on Saturday. And we are having a number of local wineries and national wineries, a number of local food vendors that's going to have excellent food. A huge silent auction with the trees and beautifully decorated wreaths as well. And all of that is to raise funds for the chamber as we move into the Christmas parade. Angela has tickets for the wine tasting. I have tickets for the wine tasting, so if you want to join us for that, let us know. Tickets are $30 till Friday and $40 on Saturday. And then the Christmas parade, the raffle tickets. I'll get to those in a second. The Christmas parade, we raise the funds at the silent auction for the wine tasting, and then we spend it 2 weeks later on the Christmas parade that costs over $15,000 to put on. which it's kind of shocking how much, but with the permitting and the porta potties and the stage and all of the above, it does cost a lot to put on that event. So we have some fun things going on. Remax Alliance is sponsoring the Christmas parade. We have events, the activities start at 10 o'clock in the morning. The theme is Rocky Mountain Christmas. And so, hold on, we're gonna get to it. We're going to have a Rocky Mountain oyster eating contest. So make sure you check out our website for details on when that's going to be. We have a Santa milk and cookies eating contest. We also have a bunking Bronco sponsored by People's Mortgage, so there'll be a contest for that as well. So there's a lot of fun events going on. Make sure you check out our website for all of the details and the schedule. And last but not least, we have our Small Business Saturday coming up this Saturday after Thanksgiving, where we're really trying to support our local small businesses. We have a lot of the small business swag that our chamber members are going to be passing out on Saturday. And then that night, we're going to meet at Conifer Community Church for the amazing animated light show, just to kind of kick off that day. So check out our website, check out our Facebook pages for all the latest updates on everything coming up. And get your raffle tickets for $1,000. Chance to win $1,000. We will raffle that off and pull the winning ticket at the Christmas parade, at the end of the Christmas parade. So get those from Angela. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Melanie. Next we have Allie Stein. She is the new shelter manager for Intermountain Humane Society. So she's here for the first time. So give her a warm welcome, Allie.
Hello everyone. Like she said, I'm Allie Stein. I'm the new shelter manager at Intermountain Humane Society. I am here to introduce myself to all of you and to tell you all a little bit about our mission at Intermountain Humane Society and what we're doing currently. Our mission is to serve animals and people through programs that help the community and promote animal health and responsible pet stewardship while promoting and fostering compassion towards animals in need. We're a limited intake shelter, which means we take care of all of our animals to the utmost of our ability until we find them the perfect future situation. We work closely with Park County and Jefferson County Animal Controls. We help relieve them of overloading their shelters and reconnecting animals that are lost to their owners. Sorry. We help a lot of underfunded shelters throughout Colorado and New Mexico, Texas, and Kansas. And we therefore help animals that might have fallen through the cracks in an overcrowded shelter situation. This year alone, we have helped over 500 animals. One of our proudest moments is our two Labrador brothers that came to us as seniors. One of them had Cushing's disease. And it took a lot of time and patience. We helped them get to a healthy point and got them into their perfect adopted home. We don't receive any government funding. Everything that we get and do is through the generosity of all of you. Our community has been nothing but amazing. In the last 6 months that I've been there, I have been blown away at what an incredible place we live in. We have some awesome events coming up with the holiday season. On November 26th, we have a photo shoot with our very own Santa Paws. So you are all welcome to bring your kids, furry and non. On December 3rd, we have the Conifer Christmas Parade. We will have a booth there, and we will also be bringing adoptable dogs and marching in the parade. We will also be at the Bailey Cowboy Christmas. Some campaigns of ours to think about are, we are coming towards the end of a matching donation for our capital campaign, which is we are raising funds to build a new facility. And it's going to be bigger and better and allow us to bring more programs to the community and to the animals in need. Our second campaign that's a big one today is the Brindy Bucket. Brindy was a Staffordshire Terrier that was picked up by Park County Animal Control, and she was in a very bad condition when she came to us. We nursed her back to health, got her into a great foster situation, and now we're raising funds for a double knee surgery that she needs for 2 torn ACLs. So thank you all for your time and allowing me to come introduce myself. It was wonderful to be here, and have a great night.
Thank you, Allie. And next we have Sherri Seymour, and she's just going to give a very short update about the Conifer Library. Sherri.
Good evening, how are you? Nice to be here. Just wanted to tell you a quick update about a couple of nice things that are happening over at your Jefferson County Library. I don't know if you're all familiar with the art house that's going on. Chris McAllister is doing paintings over there with still life, landscape portraits, and figure paintings. I have some information on that if you're interested in joining us. Also tomorrow night we're going to continue our series on Homesteading 101. Chantel won't be there, but we will have Caitlin Howard-Jones will be there. She will be bringing a goat and talking about how to do homesteading with goats here in Conifer. So I hope you can join us for that tomorrow night. Also, let's see, on December 17th, we have sweet and savory gluten-free baking coming up with our Healthy Living series over at the library as well. So come see me if you want more information on that. And then over Thanksgiving break at the Evergreen Library, we'll be doing a Harry Potter Fest, more or less. We're going to be doing movies and crafts and arts and games and all kinds of fun things for the kids. So if you pass that along to somebody who has kids, or if you have kids, we'd love it if you'd come and join us for that. Okay. Also, new things happening at the library. We have Wi-Fi hotspots now. Each library has 10. You can check them out for a week at a time if you need to have internet access. You can put 10 devices on one of these Wi-Fi hotspots that you can check out with a library card. And if you don't have a library card, you can see them for that as well. Okay, computer classes, all of that's still going on as well. So look forward to seeing you. If you have any questions about any of the events coming up or any of the downloadables, anything like that, just let us know. We're here to help and look forward to meeting you. Thanks so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Sherri. And now Suzi Nelson, one of our Conifer Council board members, is going to talk a little bit about the development updates that you should have all gotten with your agenda at the front. Suzi.
Good evening. Okay, we only had one new application since our last town hall meeting that is listed here, and it's at 11873 Springs Road in Conifer, which I believe is at the Green Valley shopping center there. Michael Madrid is brought the case to the county, and it's pending a formal application. They want to change it from commercial one to planned development in order to allow for craft brewery uses. So the only other things I have are updates, and most of them are pending formal application. This one for American Bowman Archery Range on Bear Road, they're waiting for the application. Aspen Park Seventh-day Adventist Church on Noah Avenue in Conifer is pending formal application to rezone to allow the use as a church and possible expansion. First Feather Day Spa wanted to add limited office space and commercial uses to First Feather, and they at first had a community meeting in April, and the Board of County Commissioners hearing on September 27th did approve it. So that's going to change there within that building. And on Parker Avenue in Pine, Christina Farrell applied to rezone to allow for daycare in the existing community center down there. That is also pending formal application. The Emmaus Catholic Retreat Center, this is off 285 at South Elk Creek Road, and we've had a lot of interest in this because there are concerns with the Board of County Commissioners hearing continued to December 6th because there are concerns with the Elk Creek Fire Department land disturbance permit for access road application. And so they're still working on that. The comments were due by the 25th of October, so we'll see what happens. They did continue it to December 6th at 8 a.m. down at the county. Kitty Drive and Cordingley Road in Conifer, they want to rezone for self-storage, and they're waiting for the application. In the mountains, I guess it takes us a little longer to do stuff. So, and then for residential development, Jack Wilman subdivision, they want to subdivide into 2 single-family detached units, and they are revising their application. And the only other updates are on Elk Trail Road, that's pending formal application to rezone from Mountain Residential 1 to Agricultural 1. Lane Ranch, Mountain Spirit Way, final plat to subdivide the property into 2 single-family residential lots. And the recording was completed in September, at the beginning of September, but that's all we know so far. And Blue Ridge subdivision, the applicant is revising the comments to subdivide a 43-acre lot into 4 lots for single-family detached lots. So the comments were due in August, and they're revising the comments. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Susie. And for any of you that haven't been here before, we give you all the information so that you can get as involved or not involved as much as you want. So in any of these cases, you have the case number, you have the phone number of the case manager, and you can call down there, you can go to the hearings, whatever, to get involved in what's happening up here. So I have a feeling a lot of you are here to hear our next speaker. So Highway 285 at Kings Valley, there's a lot of new businesses, new development, and new traffic issues. So Steve Harrelson, we're welcoming back Steve. He used to come to all of our meetings, but then he went a little higher at CDOT, and so now he's back to talk to you about some of the different options that they have for that intersection. So Steve, welcome.
Thank you. A lot of you have been up here for a long time and have probably been to some of these meetings and heard me before. Some of you, however, may be fairly new to the community. So I want to go through some of the history with the corridor. If those of you who've lived through it probably can tune out for a few minutes, but I think it's important to know where we've been the last 15 years or so. In 2004, CDOT did an environmental assessment for the stretch from Foxton Road to Bailey. So that environmental assessment gave a preliminary design to 4-lane 285 and build interchanges at Mountain View Park and Ride, Richmond Hill, Kings Valley, Schaefer's Crossing, Parker Drive, Pine Junction, and 2 interchanges at Deer Creek, one of which was to be built by CDOT, the other to be built by the developer. In addition, the highway section is going to be very similar to what's below Foxton Road. It's 2 through lanes and a 30-foot depressed median. So that was approved in 2004 and signed. And immediately when that was completed, we started work on the Richmond Hill Bridge and the widening from Foxton Road through Richmond Hill. Soon after that, we did the first interchange at Deer Creek, and then following on the heels of that, we did Schaefer's Crossing. And I think Schaefer's Crossing was completed in 2011, so that's like 5 years ago. Since then, we've not done much work on the EA. The total value of that EA was about $200 million in 2004 dollars. So we completed approximately 30 million of that 200 million. So without inflation, we have 170 million left. With inflation, we have about 220 left. We stopped working on projects on that EA in about 2011 for a variety of reasons. Some of these funding mechanisms are kind of inside baseball. So I'll try to explain it as best I can. If you have further questions afterwards, you can come ask me. Starting in 1997, CDOT started funding capacity expansion with little funding mechanisms that transfer general fund dollars from the general fund into the highway fund. The highway fund is generally funded by gasoline taxes, both federal and state, which together are just over 40 cents per gallon. Those have not been raised since 1993, and currently they cover maintenance of existing facilities. So when a bridge wears out and the bridge needs to be redecked, that comes from gas taxes. When we resurface a road, that comes from gas taxes. New capacity, which is what the expansion of 285 would be, generally has come from the general fund. So there were two legislative acts that governed that. The first was called Senate Bill 1, and it was passed in 1997. And the way it worked, when personal revenues measured by what people reported on their tax returns exceeded certain amounts, I think the trigger was 5%, it would then trigger a transfer of 5% of the general fund to the transportation capacity expansion. The Senate Bill 1 projects that legislation was written for T-Rex and a number of other projects throughout the state, but T-Rex was the big one. And they came up with a list of 28 projects that they call priority projects. And Senate Bill 1 was set up to fund those. So several years later, I think in 2002, another piece of legislation was passed called House Bill 1310. It was set up very similarly, but instead of the 28 projects, it added some strategic corridors. 285 was one such strategic corridor. The other one in the metro area was Highway 85 from Castle Rock to C470. So those were the two big ones in at least the area at CDOT where I've worked, were 285 and Highway 85. So from 2002 until 2009, these funds got diverted onto 285 quite significantly. Much of the highway that was built just outside of here through Aspen Park and on up to Foxton Road was built with these funds, and as was Richmond Hill, as was Deer Creek, and a portion of Schaefer's Crossing. A portion of Schaefer's Crossing was also the stimulus package in 2008. So in about 2008, two things happened. They changed the legislation and vacated House Bill 1310, so it went away. And also the bottom fell out of the economy, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway because the general funds were not high enough to divert these dollars into capacity improvements. So we built nothing since then. The legislature initially replaced Senate Bill 1 and House Bill 1310 with the faster fees, which is the $40 surcharge on your vehicle registrations. But that was earmarked for, half of it was safety improvements and half of it was for bridge replacement. So that's in effect right now. Then a year or two later, they passed a replacement for Senate Bill 1 called Senate Bill 228, which was the same sort of mechanism. When personal income exceeds 5% growth year over year, then it triggers a 5% general fund transfer into transportation. So they passed that, I think it was in 2009 or 2010, but those triggers have not been met, so we've not seen any money until the last year or so. And now we are seeing $200 million a year, but there's an exception to that, and that is when the Tabor triggers hit, it takes those away. So for these dollars to get transferred into transportation, the economy has to be doing fairly well so that personal income is growing, but not so well that tax revenues exceed 3%, because when they exceed 3%, all the money goes back to the taxpayers rather than into transportation. So that's what's happened. The funding stream for 285 has been tweaked and changed, and because the economy was so weak from 2008 to 2013 or so, we didn't see any funding up here. So that's why we've not made much progress on the EA. So let me get my notes. So with Senate Bill 228, this year we have $200 million that's come to CDOT. It is being spent on the I-70 viaduct in Denver. There's a potential for $100 million to come next year. It's still not certain. I think we'll find out during the legislative session. But it is likely to go to I-25 North if it happens. If the Tabor revenues are too high, it will instead be turned into Tabor refunds. So that's the funding. So now I'm going to get into our project alternatives. So at Kings Valley in the EA, we show a grade separated interchange very similar to what's at Richmond Hill. So the local street will pass over 285, and there will be a network of frontage roads that will get the traffic up onto the bridge over 285 to get rid of that left turn. The cost of that construction is about $15 million. If we also four-laned it from Richmond Hill down to Schaefer's Crossing, that cost is about $40 million. And we just don't have either of those amounts. So based on the incidents this summer and the petition we got, we've looked at some alternatives that maybe we could do something in an interim. And we came up with a whole menu of options. The first would be some operational options, and these are the simplest. The first would be to restrict left turns and force people to go down either to Schaefer's Crossing and do a U-turn, or maybe go down further where there is a better sight distance and do a U-turn there. I think we've abandoned each of those because with the amount of traffic being generated at Kings Valley at 7 in the morning, I don't think we want to have hundreds of cars if you're trying to do a U-turn down the road. So I think we've decided that's not really a feasible option. The second option is some signalization. We could do a very simple signal right at the intersection of Kings Valley now, and when left turns go, we just stop traffic and we do left turns both from the highway and onto the highway. That's one option. The second option is known as a Florida T, and there's not many of these in the state. There's one where 285 hits Highway 24 in Johnson Village, just south of Buena Vista, where the southbound traffic on 24 continues, and the left turn from 285 makes a left turn while the northbound traffic on 24 is stopped. So one direction is stopped, the other direction is not, and then there's a merge point downstream. There's another case of that out at DIA. If you park in the Pikes Peak lot, and as you come back around to get onto Pena Boulevard, you go underneath a bridge under Pena Boulevard, and there's a signal there. That's also a Florida T. There's a Jersey barrier in the middle, and the through traffic does not stop, it just stops one direction. So we looked at both of those. They have some advantages and some disadvantages. We've also looked at some roadway options, and one that we think is very promising, so promising that we've actually started surveying it to try to move into preliminary design and see if there really are some deal killers as we lay it out, and that would be an interim underpass. And what we would do there is build a box culvert or a very small bridge. We're not sure if it would be 1 lane or 2 lane, but it would go underneath 285. It would start kind of on that roadway that goes to the water treatment facility there, just to the, I'll call it northeast of the intersection, and would go underneath 285, and then we would build a ramp back up onto the highway. So the left turns would go underneath 285 and then be able to get on 285. In looking at it, from an unsurveyed, we don't have the topography laid out yet, but it looks, from a preliminary standpoint, it's feasible. we're trying to keep it in our right of way. If we can keep it in our right of way, it's far simpler and quicker to design and build. It's not in the EA, so in some ways that causes us some heartburn with federal highways. However, since it is an interim improvement, we can get some grace from federal highways from that perspective. The other thing that I think is really neat about it, and the gentleman that came up with the idea is Kevin Brown, he's over with us tonight, is that if when we come back and do build the EA solution, it's not a throwaway. We could use it as a wildlife crossing. It kind of follows a drainage. So, it's kind of a win-win. We address the immediate problem, and I think we can do it fairly quickly. And then it also provides a benefit that no one thought of 10 or 12 years ago when we were doing the EA. So those are the alternatives. I talked a little bit about the faster safety fund that is the surcharge from your license plates. And the beauty of the House Bill 1310 was that those dollars were focused on very specific corridors. And for that reason, 285 saw a lot of money for 10 or 15 years. When that was replaced with this faster safety, that money got spread out a lot further. So it's not as focused on 285 as we'd like to see maybe. But this underpass, we've had some preliminary discussions with the faster safety people, and they think it is a fundable solution through their program. So it's definitely a safety improvement, and I think it's fundable under our current schemes. We don't really have to beat the bushes for money. So, we haven't made any decisions. We kind of want to talk to you guys and see what you think. I've heard from many of you that a signal is not what you want to see, and I think from CDOT's perspective, we don't want to see it either, because prior to all of these improvements, we were attempting to get rid of signals, and 20 years ago, the traffic on Sunday afternoons would back up signal to signal pretty much from Aspen Park to Bailey, and we don't want to go back in that direction. So we want to try to do it without a signal, and we think that maybe this underpass is a way to go, but we'd like you to come over and look at our pictures and talk to us and let us know and help us make the decision.
Thank you, Steve. It's pretty complicated, right? And I was involved in that environmental study 15 years ago, so a lot has happened since then. Okay, so we've also had lots and lots of questions about what has already gone into the Kings Valley Shopping Center and what is still to come, and what else is happening around Conifer as far as the commercial development. So Ron Catterson with Evergreen Commercial Group is here to give a little presentation on that. Ron.
Thank you. Hopefully I can figure this out. I need to wake it up first. Just need to turn it on. So we'll talk about, thank you very much, I appreciate that. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the commercial real estate, what's going on the 285 corridor, and then we'll also talk specifically more about what's going on at Kings Valley, actually. And so, and I'm doing this on behalf of Bill Downs, and Bill, he would have loved to have been here, but turns out his wife got a new knee this morning, so he's at the hospital, so you're going to have to put up with me tonight. So, let's see here. So the overall market we're talking about the commercial market. It's been strong for the last few years, and typically we find a slowdown that happens in the summertime, but this summer we've stayed quite busy, and we feel that we expect the market to be strong for another couple years along that, and this is all for the 285 corridor here that I'm talking about. And so first we'll talk about office lease space. The vacancy rate has slowly dropped over the last few years in the corridor here, and the price per square foot has slowly started to increase just a little bit, and we're averaging about $18 to $20 per square foot per year on the commercial space. Then retail lease space, the vacancy rate has steadily dropped since the beginning of 2015. And we're finally starting to see some averages rebound a little bit in 2016, and we're up at about $12 to $14 per square foot, and that's average again. So why does it keep going backwards? And then office building sales, we currently have 5 office buildings for sale in the on the corridor, and we've sold 4 buildings in 2016. Most of them are the smaller buildings, typically. And then the retail building sales, there's currently 10 retail buildings for sale, and 3 buildings have sold in 2016, 2 small buildings, and then the biggest one is the Aspen Park Village there, and Aspen Park changed hands also. Commercial land, there's currently 15 commercial parcels of land, and 2 of them have sold. We also have some current owners that are thinking about doing some things on their own land. That we're seeing some of that a little bit. So let's talk specifically about the Kings Valley Marketplace. You all know this. It's while a lot of you are here tonight, but it's right behind the Come and Go there, and. So it's a quality retail center. It's got great visibility, convenient, central 285 corridor location. It's a quality, not like new building. It's a chance for you to build it out the way you'd like it. And as you know, there's plenty of parking around there also. So the first floor tenants, we have Tony with KOTM Outfitters. We have Dynamic Fitness. They're going to be a gym that's about ready to open here in the next month. Leader One is actually a mortgage company. Ombre Gardens. And then the King's Emporium is actually a gift emporium where people can do all kinds of, have little booths in the Gifts Emporium there. And that's going to be there. So this is the first floor plan. The Outfitters in here, the Dynamic Fitness is here. We've got the Leader One, I think, is right here. Ombre Gardens is here. And then this whole space right here is going to be for the Gift Emporium. So they're working on, there's a gal there now she's organizing it. She has a small shop in there in one of these spaces now. But they're about ready to start the build out on the Gift Emporium. So we can help you with that too. That's the King's Gift Emporium. The second floor tenants, we have some executive suites up there. The executive suites have a full kitchen, a really nice conference room, and then also a reception area. And so we have the Pieceworks there. Ombre Gardens has a spot there, and then we're located there also, Evergreen Commercial Group. And then the Forest Service is going to take a big part of the upstairs up there also. And so the executive suites are right in this section right here, and the Forest Service is going to take this whole half eventually here. And today actually they were in there looking at the ultimate design on that. So I think they're going to start construction on that pretty quick. Some of the other things that we've had, people that have inquired about it, one of the things that we would really love to see is up on this spot right here on the second floor is for a restaurant, bar, tap room, something like that. And why we think that would be so great is because you have this deck right here that looks out onto Pikes Peak. So it'd be really nice. We've also had a vet looking at the space. Tony's actually talking about expanding his business to include a bar and an archery range and a virtual shooting range too. So, and then, let's see, we've had some other inquiries too. So the leasing rates are $12 to $15 a square foot for the regular spot, the normal spots, and then the executive suites are $20 to $24. Current projections, we're about 40% leased now. We think in another 3 months we're going to be 60% leased, and in a year to 18 months we expect to be completely full in that area, in that building. So I'd just like to thank you from Evergreen Commercial Group. Thanks.
Thank you, Ron. Okay, so that gave a little snapshot there. Well, we are actually finished early tonight, but that'll give you time to go and look at all of the plans that CDOT has over here and to talk to all of our other speakers and everything. So I'm glad that we got it done a little bit early tonight. I wanted to let you know that Angela is in the back with Salvation Army. This year, King Supers will be the only place where Salvation Army will be ringing the bell. Safeway will not be doing it this year. So we need to collect as much money, because that money does go to the community as possible. So they're looking for people to ring the bell. So if you could go and talk to Angela, it's actually really fun. The front of King Supers is usually pretty sunny, so it's warm, it's nice, you see all your neighbors. You know, bring your dog, your kids, whatever, grandkids, it's fun. So I would like to thank again the Evergreen Commercial Group and Leader One Financial Corporation for their support of tonight's meeting. And I'd just like to thank you all for coming tonight. Our next town hall meeting will be in February. I believe it's the 19th of February. But you will, if anybody here is not on our email list, we'd love to get your email. We send out information about all the town hall meetings and a few other community things, but we don't deluge you with emails at all. But if you'd like to sign up, just talk to Carol or somebody at the table up the front. But everybody, please stick around. I think there might still be some cookies and water and coffee, and please enjoy talking to the speakers. Thanks so much for coming.